Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAD Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Activists say 4 children killed in Syrian government shelling. Germany foil attack plot with arrest of Syrian man. And moving on to our details, starting with the Syrian profile. At least 4 children were killed in government shelling as they left their school in a rebel-held town. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on Tuesday a shell landed at the gate of a school in Jisrin, a town in the eastern Ghouta suburbs of Damascus, as children were leaving for the day. The shelling left at least 5 children dead. From another aspect, the violence comes as the Russian-sponsored talks are underway in the Kazakh capital Astana to consolidate so-called de-escalation zones designed to freeze the lines of conflict and allow humanitarian aid to rebel-held areas besieged by government forces. On to Baghdad, Iraqi government forces on Tuesday took control of the key border crossing with Turkey in the Iraqi Kurdistan region after weeks of tensions between Baghdad and Erbil. Turkish state-run Anadolu news agency said the Iraqi forces deployed at the Ibrahim al-Khalil crossing alongside Turkish forces and were preparing to raise the Iraqi national flag. Noteworthy that the Kurdish region has found itself increasingly isolated after holding an unbinding independence referendum on September 25th that was opposed not just by Baghdad but also Iran, Turkey and the Kurds' Western allies. Meanwhile, a Syrian man was arrested in northeastern Germany on Tuesday morning for allegedly planning a bomb attack with high explosives in order to kill a large number of people. Authorities said special forces arrested the 19-year-old man in the city of Shevrin. They searched the man's apartment and homes of other people who they said were suspected of any involvement in the crime. Prosecutors said that the man was motivated by extremist Islamist ideology, adding that it wasn't clear if he had already chosen a specific target for his attack. However, there are currently no indications that the accused is linked to a terror organization. On the other side of the world, the Kremlin says Russia is not implicated by the first criminal cases against associates of President Donald Trump. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that so far Russia doesn't figure in any way in these charges which have been made, and that Russia hopes that they do not feed hysteria. Peskov added that accusations of Russia meddling in the election remain unfounded, and we are observing the situation with interest. Meanwhile, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said we are accused of interfering not only in U.S. elections, but also in those of other countries without one piece of evidence. On another side, South Korea and China announced on Tuesday that they will work to improve their relationship, which has been badly strained by the deployment of an American missile defense system. Seoul's foreign ministry said China and South Korea recently agreed that they should soon normalize their relations and boost cooperation for a peaceful diplomatic resolution of the North Korean nuclear issue. The ministry statement said Beijing reaffirmed its opposition to THAAD and asked South Korea to handle relevant issues appropriately, while South Korea reiterated the system doesn't target China. And moving on to our economic news. The Eurozone economy is enjoying its strongest and most sustained period of growth since a short-lived bounce back following the global financial crisis. Official figures released on Tuesday showed that the single currency bloc, which is made up of 19 countries, was 2.5% bigger in the third quarter of 2017 than it was the year before. Eurostat found that the Eurozone expanded by a quarterly rate of 0.6% during the July-September period. Though the quarterly rate was down slightly than the second quarter, it's modestly higher than expectations for a 0.5% rise. And finally, weather news. A severe storm that pounded the northeast with hurricane force wind gusts and torrential rain has left utility crews scrambling to restore power. The storm knocked out power to nearly 1.5 million homes and business at its peak on Monday across the region. More than 1 million customers remained in the dark early Tuesday. Moreover, thousands of trees were toppled, but no serious injuries were reported. It's worth mentioning that New England bore the brunt of the storm, with winds gusting to 82 miles per hour in Mashpee on Cape Cod in Massachusetts and topping out at 130 miles per hour at the Mount Washington Observatory in New Hampshire. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Activists say 4 children killed in Syrian government shelling. Germany foil attack plot with arrest of Syrian man. And we reached the end of our MISAT bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.